So you've got problem debts. You're missing maybe the payments to credit cards each month. You're missing the payments to your personal loans each month. You're possibly falling into arrears with your council tax, and you may have even had a visit from the sheriff officers or an earnings assessment carried out on your wages. So you're now looking for a solution. Now you don't want to go down the route of bankruptcy or protected trust deed because you feel that you can actually manage your debts. It's just you need a bit of breathing space, you need a bit more time to maybe let you try and reduce the payments and pay them back. Well, one option you can look at is the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme. Now, the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme was introduced in 2004, so it's not a new thing. But it is unique in the UK, there is no other scheme like it, although there is plans to bring in a similar scheme for the rest of the UK within the next couple of years. Now, some of the key features and benefits of the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme is it freezes all interest, fees, charges and penalties on your debts once they're included. So you don't need to worry that debts are going to keep increasing once you're into the scheme. Those debts get frozen as soon as you enter into the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme. Another key feature of the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme is if you're already got a wage arrestment on your wages, once the application has been approved, that wage arrestment gets lifted, which means that cash becomes available so that you can actually start using it to pay your other debts. Another key feature is if you're facing bankruptcy. If a creditor has raised a petition for your bankruptcy, if you apply for the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme, sometimes the sheriff may not award the bankruptcy and may decide to allow you to try and apply for the Debt Arrangement Scheme. And if that is successful, then the bankruptcy application will be dismissed. Another key feature is that you only make one payment each month. So rather than if you've got multiple creditors, if you've maybe got 5-6 debts, rather than trying to pay those 5-6 debts each month, you make one payment to a payment distributor who is approved as part of the scheme. They take that payment and then they pay all the creditors for you each month. So it makes it easy for you to manage your debts. Other key features is, for example, once you're in the scheme, sheriff officers cannot execute earnings arrestments against your wages, they can't freeze your bank account, they can't attach your car. So there's actually a lot of benefits in being in the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme, but the biggest benefit is actually that it gives you peace of mind and it allows you to manage your debts and gradually repay those debts over a period of time. Now, obviously, one thing you've got to bear in mind before you go into the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme is it can damage your credit rating, so it may affect your ability to get credit again in the future. However, to be fair, most people that are looking to maybe enter into the Debt Arrangement Scheme have already possibly missed payments on their credit cards, missed payments on their loans, they may have had arrears notices or default notices, so the likelihood is their credit ratings have already been damaged. Okay, so you've decided you now want to apply to the Debt Arrangement Scheme, so what's the next step you take? Well, you need to make an appointment with a money advisor. You're not allowed to apply to the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme yourself, you must do it through a money advisor. And that's to make sure that it's the right option for you. Nobody wants you to go into the wrong solution. But you can contact the local Citizens Advice Bureau, they may be able to assist you to go into the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme. You can contact your local council. Many councils will employ money advisors who can also help you apply for the scheme. Alternatively, you may want to contact a private company. Now, from the 4th of November 2019, just later this year, the Scottish Government are bringing in new legislation which will actually mean that from that day onwards, these private companies that can help you go into the Debt Arrangement Scheme will no longer be able to charge a private sector fee. So in actual fact, the cost of going into the Debt Arrangement Scheme will now be paid for by the creditors themselves, which means every penny you pay to enter this when you're in the scheme will actually be paid towards your debts and will be paid towards reducing your debts. So you go along to your money advisor and you tell them you want to apply for the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme. They'll go through the money advice process, and we've done an earlier video on that, so the debt advice process, so you can see what's actually involved in that process. They'll also draft up an income and expenditure, and they'll take your income, they'll take your expenditure, and they'll try and work out what your disposable income is, and that's how much you can afford to pay. Then they'll ask you how much it is you want to pay, because you don't need to pay every penny that you've got free to your debts in the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme. You can make the creditors an offer, even if that offer is lower than what your full disposable income is. Now, when you actually make that offer, that offer is then sent to the creditors. They get 3 weeks to actually consider your offer, and if any of them come back and object, then it goes to what's called a fair and reasonable test. Now, if none of your creditors come back and none of them object, then it is automatically approved after the 3 weeks. If some of them don't even bother to respond, then it's considered that they've actually agreed to it. But where somebody does object, if they do object, then it goes to a fair and reasonable test, which is where the Debt Arrangement Scheme Administrator, who's a Scottish Government civil servant, looks at your scheme and decides whether it's fair and reasonable. Now, what counts as fair and reasonable, it's not a definitive thing. It's hard to put your finger on it. But generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, if your plan is likely to last less than 5 years and it's likely to be successful, but even between 5 and 10 years, there's still a very good chance that your debt arrangement scheme will be approved. The average time is actually between 6 and 7 years, but 96% of all debt arrangement schemes are currently being approved. Now, once your scheme is actually approved, what should happen is that any earners arrestment or wage arrestments that's been applied to your scheme should automatically or should be lifted as a result of the scheme being approved. Then what should happen is you get 42 days to actually make your first payment. And how that will work is the payment distributor will be appointed, they'll contact you and they'll ask you to set up a standing order or a direct debit to make your first payment. And you've got to make that payment within 42 days of actually entering into the scheme. So your program's up and running, you're paying it every month. So what happens now? Well, nothing happens. That's the beauty of the debt arrangement scheme. You just get on with your life. You make your monthly payment each month to the payment distributor. They take the payments and distribute it, and actually continue until your debts are paid off in full. And when they're paid off, then you get a letter confirming successful completion of your debt arrangement scheme, and your debt should be noted as being paid or settled on your credit reference file. However, life isn't always that easy, so obviously sometimes during the debt arrangement scheme things may happen. For example, you may miss payments, or your circumstances may change, you may lose your job. So what can you do in those kind of situations? Well, the first thing is always go back to your money advisor. Always speak to your money advisor. Don't just bury your head in the sand, because there is ways of sort of dealing with these situations. And one way you can deal with it, if your circumstances change, for example, is you do a variation, and you can do that through your money advisor where you ask them to change the amount that you're going to pay. Now, there is a risk in doing a variation, in the sense that it does still have to go to the creditors. They do get an opportunity to object, and if they do object and you can't maintain the payments, then your debt arrangement scheme could be revoked. Alternatively, however, it may be that you could ask for a short-term payment break. You can actually ask for payment breaks in the debt arrangement scheme for up to 6 months if you've maybe lost your job. So that may be the solution, is asking for a payment break initially if you've lost your job, or as I say, if you are just need to reduce how much you're paying, you can actually ask for a variation. And after the 4th of November, there's going to be other changes being brought in, but even if you have a short-term crisis, maybe not lost a job, but maybe they've had an emergency sort of payment you've had to make that month, or there's been the wash machine's broken down, the car's broken down, there's going to be new provisions in where you can have a crisis break, where you can actually have a break for 1 month at a time, up to 2 months, and then a 12-month rolling period. So the key thing about the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme is once you're in it and you're paying it, that's fantastic. You've got the protection for your creditors, the interest and charges are frozen, and you're making your 1 month payment each month. However, it's important to remember that if things do change, like if your circumstances change, you think you're going to struggle to make a payment, is that you go back to see your money advisor. So hopefully that's helped you. Hopefully if you are having trouble with your debts, if you are struggling to make your payments, you now know there is a solution there, and you hopefully will know a bit more about the Scottish Debt Arrangement Scheme. If you want more information, visit my website. It's www.advicescotland.com.